suddenly it was Curse Academy that just destroyed everybody. And Fusion saw it coming, to be fair. They were practice partners leading up to this event. But right now, though, Coast looking to find some footing. They've only taken a single game off of Fusion and Curse Academy combined there. Their only other wins have been over Final 5, who were the big dark horses here. Picks and Bands are coming out fast and furious. The first pick, Corki, once again here. And now, finally, a Rumble gets stolen away by Chris. You were asked about that in Game 2. I think that is the right choice.
Yeah, and I think the thing here between the two is that Chris wants to take it away because MacNoon has been having really good games on that upset the mid-game. And now, Team Fusion aren't going to have as mid-game oriented of a composition for themselves.
That's true. It's actually going to break apart a lot of what happens. Now, I think this right away says, okay, this might be dumb. I'm just going to sort of throw it out there, though. If Uhi plays AD carry mids like Ezreal, they can have a mid-game power spike from double AD carry, from double Triforce. And you have the 16-minute power spike of double Triforce where you can impose your role if you still want that mid-game power spike. That's not necessarily the case of what they want here, and you're still facing a Rumble who's actually good against double AD carry, but it is an option theoretically.
Yeah, he does play a little bit of the AD carry mid like Ezreal. He also dabbles in the Azir, which
that's true.
Always excited to see an Azir.
Yeah.
I think that champion is extremely powerful when you put it in a composition and a professional environment.
Well, Coast are going to wait, I think, on their mid lane pick. They do have counter pick potential, and they are going to go Janna here. So interesting because their team does have a mix of engage and counter engage, but certainly they're going to have great team fighting here, which has been a weakness of Coast.
It's got every engage. It's got counter engage, engage, and disengage.
What about re-engage?
Well, haven't seen that last pick just yet.
All right, there's going to be a chance for this one. That'd be like a Zyra. Zyra's like a re-engage tool where it's like, all right, it's like follow-up, you know? They came in, we're going to come in after you. Fusion, though, got a lot of important picks for themselves. Gleb's Thresh was very good the first time around, and so far Fusion have been happy to pick that champion back up. Lee Sin for Nintendo also been great. The it's not Galio, sorry. I got really excited for a second. That's Maokai. He's a similar face. But Maokai comes through again for MacNoon here. So basically a reverse matchup of the first two games. Can MacNoon win this matchup? On the champion's been on the losing side. Is that player or is that champion? But once again, also LeBlanc coming through for Fusion. They thought that was the right choice, and I think it is too.
Yeah. There's just a lot of not parity here between these two teams. Like, Niantanso stepping up a ton today. Mash, disappearing.
Yeah,
going
really
somewhere
poor performance from this tournament.
And then, not showing up 100 CS later, Niantanso is doing the most damage in the game by, ×3 of anybody else.
Practically, yeah.
And then Glebe Blarbu is very, very different than the way he was yesterday.
Yeah.
He was having a rough game yesterday. Bunny Fufu was all over him. And then today, he is making Sheep, who was somebody that was holding parity, and people were like, who's better, Sheep or Bunny Fufu? And you can't really call it, especially since they're both really good Thresh players.
Right.
And now it's Glebe throwing a wrench in the plans. It's Sheep's let me get back to my rival. Let me get back to Bunny. And Glebe is in the way right now.
And Glebe's kind of tossing, a whole bunch of people around. His hooks have been good, his plays have been good, some good plays overall. Jess is, though, going to find something new for himself off the Orianna, something a little bit more, I would say, individualistic and selfish. The Xerath coming out, though, wants to be more of a damage threat, less of, I guess, a team player in a way. He's going less utility, more damage. And Coast really want to blow people up, but this means it's on Sheep to keep that team alive.
Yeah, it's kind of that disengage. They have poke now. So they have engage, counter engage, disengage, and poke.
Yeah.
And then they have a little bit of rundown there with the Jarvan as well as the Lucian. Yeah. But the team that came out here for Fusion is just pretty much them playing to their strengths again.
Right. It's them picking the same champions over and over again because it's been working, so just keep playing for it. What I do want to say, though, is Coast have a very obvious strength to themselves, which is they've got the Rumble Jarvan Xerath. When a fight starts, you get locked down in a whole bunch of magic damage AoE, and life could be very painful for Fusion if they ever misstep and get into the wrong team fight. So Coast have the ability to explode any battle that shows up. Guys, if you want to join the conversation as well, head over to Twitter, @LOL Esports, #LCS expansion. This could be our final game of the tournament, guys. Tell your friends, see, hey, do you want to be there live? Where were you when the 10th LCS team qualified?
Yeah, it's the first time we'd have 10 teams in the LCS.
Yep.
So it is kind of history-making here.
It is history-making. Curse Academy going to be one of them. That we'll find what their new name is at some point in the future by, I guess, late January, whenever the season does start. Fusion, here we go, though. One game away from LCS qualification. They've got 3 chances. Triple match point.
Welcome
Fusion have a very nice looking comp. Team Coast pulling out a couple of new things. Chris gets his Rumble for the first time. Jess goes over to Xerath. Let's see what Coast can do.
Well, the ward up is happening right now. The line of scrimmage coming out. Glebe Glarbu is the one that they are all on that side of. So Coast, instead, they're just going to disperse because they do see Nintendo.
So I want to see what the invade patterns end up being, though. See, because to me, Fusion feels like they could play aggressively. Like, they could make a statement with this game and try to win even faster, play even sort of more recklessly. And they could go for a risky invade. And again, they've got 3 chances. Like, it's not a huge risk here. Team Coast, they realize they have to 3-0. And I think to 3-0, you can't make a lot of risks. Because at some point, one backfires and your entire tournament disappears. So I think they have to play, like, for the 70-30s. They can't do, like, any of the 60-40 invades where it's like, oh, man, 40%. If you try that 3 times, at one point, it's going to fail. Chances are pretty high.
Or you're super lucky, yeah.
Yeah. The probability run it invades. How often do we need them to work? 3 times? Let's not.
Probability of winning 3 games in a row in the first place is still low. Fusion has done it before.
That's
being
true.
Down 2-0.
Yeah, Fusion's
Coast.
Fusion's been in Coast's spot.
Yep.
And they did it. So
well, they know the pressure. That's a big thing too. Is that Coast is in a little bit of a taller order because Fusion has had a lead in the games that they have won very, very handily.
Yeah.
Throughout most of the game. In terms of like just majority of how long that timer's been ticking.
Yeah.
Majority of the time, they have a lead, a gold lead over Coast. Coast, they get something early, but then they give it up. And Fusion just takes over in the mid-game. The games that Fusion ended up losing and being down 2-0 to Final 5, they still had gold leads. They just threw it because of final fights.
Yeah. And it's kind of interesting, though. Certainly, it's a mindset thing. It's like, what kind of players are you? Fusion said that they think Coast would tilt. They think that if they win that first game, they shatter Coast's mind and there's no comeback happening. And so far, that's been fairly true. Game 2 was a lot less close than Game 1 was. Final 5, to their credit, was really good at playing for comebacks. They were ridiculously far down and still made it. They put on a great showing. They had a lot of fun in the tournament. We'll be seeing them in Challenger anyway.
I think that's part of the camaraderie of that team.
Yeah, it's great.
Everybody was having a blast, but look at this. The gank down bottom. He has the twisted advance.
There's the root. There's the chain as well. Actually, no, chain hasn't learned it yet. Flash and heal already burned by Mash.
And just picking on Mash. He had a really rough game last game against Niantonso, who just ran away with everything in that game. So there's a lot of pressure on him. And Niantonso, he's once again on a priority champion for him, the first pick Corki.
And that's pretty big. 4 CS lead doesn't mean a whole lot, but the fact that Mash has no summoner spells means he has to always be vigilant of any roams. If there's no wards in this river, he can't, in full confidence, go for minion kills because he could die at any time.
He can't even go to bully in this 2-on-2 lane.
No. A flash play kills him,
exactly.
Basically.
A flash play, they'd have to be disengaged from Sheep. Sheep is not running heal or exhaust. He's running damage. He doesn't have any way to protect him aside from the shield.
It's kind of interesting that he is running Knight Janna, although it is pretty hard to exhaust the champions that will be coming in from Fusion. You can't always get on the LeBlanc in time to stop what she's doing to you.
And even if you do, she usually snaps back to her first distortion.
Yeah, and she tries again later. Yeah. So. Ignite gives you kill pressure, lets you maybe remove the self-healing Maokai that they're going to be up against during these team fights. I think even though Janna is not an aggressive support, the Ignite's not really for the laning phase, it's for the team fight phase, and Ignite's going to be very valuable.
Very early Scuttle Crab there, just for the gold. Intent, dude.
I mean, one of the players we had in this tournament, Prototype, who 90% of the time runs Exhaust and 80 carries, I kept asking everyone about it. Because, like, I mean, Exhaust is really good for one-on-ones. Like, it does do some good things for you. They were like, yeah, but you want Ignite, like, way too much in lane. Like, you can't not run Ignite in the lane. You're never going to run Ignite Exhaust. So you lose out on a very important summoner spell by forcing the support to go heal and you to go Exhaust. So just the value of Ignite is too high, and you can see 90% of pro supports run Ignite.
90% of them? I think it depends on the matchup.
Yeah, but I mean, like 90% of the time it is run as Ignite, I think. Like, you do see occasional Exhaust, but it's the exception to the rule.
I think there'll be more Exhaust considering we see a lot of mid laners now taking Ignite and playing the Assassins.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean,
that's just my opinion.
Gotta throw, I mean, I do like Exhaust. I think it is strong, but we just tend to see it a little bit more rarely.
Yeah, I like it for the late game, and also games are going longer than they did before. So I think that it's a really effective summoner spell later.
I tend to agree.
Yep.
I just know what the player perception tends to be and what the pick rates tend to be. I mean, I can only agree that I do like exhaust. Bottom lane, though, some push going on in. Looks like Mash wants to get McNoon stuck under the turret. Problem is McNoon heavily out CSing Chris right now, and you have Nintendo Ducks looking for a dive, maybe in the top lane, at least a counter if something were to happen. But Jarvan from Impaler on the other side of the map just farming. Ooh, good pink ward, actually.
Yeah.
He's really trying to keep this safe.
He's going to try to clear this ward, and that might be what does it for him.
He's looking for it. Chris going to take a fair bit of damage. Nintendo going to push him back. Niantansa wants in. This pink ward will be cleared right away. And a whole big wave gets denied. Now Sheep's got to be careful as well. Nice play backwards. Impaler's around them. He's trying to bait it out. There's the knockup. They go from McNoon, and there's the ignite. And look at that. It's going to get them the kill. Unfortunately, it is the kill steal or secure by Sheep, depending on your priorities there.
That's the ignite. The ignite picking up the kill there. And once again, picking on McNoon and First Blood to Coast. They've got First Blood every single game in this series. And it only puts them up about 100 gold on the scoreboard.
The laning phase has been rough. Otherwise, McNoon teleports back in. He's going to get most of this wave pretty securely. Nintendo, though, doing a good job finding pink wards to kill. The Coast are a very good early game team. They're making good choices in lane. They are getting wards up very early on. Sadly, they're getting cleared away, so they're not paying off too much. But this is a strength of Coast. If they can just find a way to do the right thing between 10 and 18 minutes, they'll win these games, but it just keeps going Fusion's way.
Yeah. Just looking at the CS across the board here, in favor of Fusion, and it makes up for that First Blood from Coast, and they're just playing this laning phase, this lane swap, slightly better. The fact that you have your support alongside your top laner and it allows him to CS is really good.
Yeah, just the extra help with the Targon stacks means a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Just like 2 heads are better than 1. Thresh and a Maokai together trying to last hit minions actually works out pretty decently. Also, just Rumble has a horrible time last hitting by himself if he's getting pushed in. There's just not a lot of good tools for securing minion kills. It's hard to set up the Flame Spitter hits, and it's hard to set up the Electro Harpoon hits too, because it's a skill shot and minions block it.
And look at that, the level 6 already here for Niantansa, so he's almost level 7. And he's going to continue to push this wave out. He does have his Sheen versus the BF sword. So he has it's pretty even in this bottom lane for the most part. He does have an advantage though because of the level.
Yeah, the level is the reason I think he has the advantage. Otherwise, I would say that Mash would be stronger here, just because BF Sword is a really big power spike, especially for a level 6 and soon to be level 7 Lucian.
Yeah, and Sheen, you got to hit the spell, and then
look at that. That's the kind of trade he's going to get. That's half health for Q auto.
Yeah, and the fact that he has Janna behind him, he's going to give him that extra AD.
All right, and that's kind of why I like this lane. That's why I think it's very scary for Fusion to opt into this 2-on-2 right after the BF Sword power spike. Like, that is the best time Lucian's ever going to have. Impaler, like,
still going to get him.
He's going to lose that, yeah.
Get
All
him.
right, third tries the charm.
Finally delays that back by about 4 seconds. 5
There's
seconds.
the play on Mash. Nice hook, but a lot of damage. Again, they have to respect the fact that Mash hurts a bunch, but so does a big one. One more hit. Oh, he dodges rocket number 1. He's got to dodge another. Good culling and good body blocking by Sheep. Glebe to go down. Oh, the summoner heal. Mash stays alive with 100 health.
Yeah, and going for the juke there. Looks like he's backing out, and then he goes right in with a big one and an auto, and it's not enough to pick him up because of the heal.
Jeez, if Ignite were up for either support right there, you can see 30 seconds away on both those cooldowns. It would have been a kill secured on either side. Very, very close right there, but 2 summoner spells burned, both sides. Actually, only 1 for Coast. I take that back, actually. Mash still has his flash.
Yeah, he held on to that. It looked like he was going to flash at first, but then he didn't do it. And look at this, the back and forth. Mash, not back to tip, but look at it. They sweep it, but they don't get the ward. They're seen.
The question is, can people show up in time with 2,000 health? They realize, oh, I don't have Smite yet. Let us not go for this one. Let's back the heck out. Impaler loses his Johnny Shield, but in comes Sheep. There's the dive on in. Glebe goes down. 2-3 for 0 overall in the game. 2 kills in that fight. Equalizer comes down. Chris wants more. Nintendo's going to kick one back, but he has 300 health. Here comes Mash. Nice dodge, but Impaler from over the wall with the Jarvan Q. 3 kills in that fight.
I main Jarvan, and that was really long.
Yeah.
That was an extendo Dragon Strike.
Well, Dragon got a lot bigger in the new season.
Whoop.
Oh, good dodge away, actually. That was a flash from Impaler to dodge from the LeBlanc. Gets the Smite secure. Out goes Uhi.
Wow, just impeccable play there from Coast in this early game. That's the only way to describe it. That turnaround.
Involved.
The fact that the sweeping lens didn't get the ward set all of that up because Coast had vision They knew what the dragon was at. They knew how low Fusion was.
Yeah.
And when you pull off the dragon, you have to pull off at the exact same time, or else one of your members is going to take 1 extra shot or 2 extra shots. And this early on in the game, it chunks them. And they ended up having 2 members suffer the AoE damage.
Yeah.
So you'll see right there, Glebe and Niantanso ended up taking it, and then Glebe takes another hit as Impaler comes in, and he just gets destroyed. And then Niantanso at the same time, out of position because they just went completely into that fight with no holds bar, and this Dragon Strike. Boop.
He led him too. He knew he was going to walk into that. Like, have to run closer because of the wall. And I got to say, the Flash Zephyr from Sheep, like, that was the spell he flashed for, was a rank 1 W. And it set up the slow to like make Jess's land the ulti and to get mashed into range. Of course, great choices there. Coast, as with every game, starts the game out with a bunch of kills lead.
Slows are extremely effective with Xerath. I remember that there was a composition where people were like, all right, it's Xerath, Nunu. Nunu jungle. Nunu just runs up, snowballs a guy, and then
gets the WQ for free.
No, you seriously do. It's
That's
just like
amazing.
that was the gank. Is Nunu runs into lane, clicks snowballs, and then it's just like
damage.
you hit everything, or you throw all your ultis.
Chris kicked into a wall. They're gonna root him up a little bit here. In comes MacNoon. Nice knock around. 300 gold comes in. He roamed up as well. Big outnumbering here, and that is another kill picked up by Nintendude. Good roam, just nowhere to be seen.
And it's almost back to even in gold because of that. The roam from Ahuhi is what has been throwing these games off in the mid game, because Jez's just doesn't follow. Jez's likes to farm, and the side lanes just aren't respecting who he's roam.
Yeah, it's just really great play. Time and time again, he gets this individual. Oh, wow, what a great lead, though. Lands a stun, but Jess takes a whole bunch of damage. He dodged what skill shots he can. Yeah, he misses half a wave, gets 2 kills for it. Obviously the right choice by Huhi.
Yeah, and the fact that he helps people out on the side lanes and relieves pressure too.
But it salvages the game.
Yeah.
Like, every single game starts out with Coast doing really good things, and Huhi turns it around.
Yeah, and a big part of that top lane too is like Impaler looked to try and knock Huhi up and do damage, but he actually got hit by the knockup from Noon.
Yeah, the Q.
It was like the backside of it too. It wasn't even facing him and it hit him. It was just close enough to his radius,
Just
or to his hitbox.
Well, Nintendude does have the Raptor buff. He's gonna find Sheep. Ooh.
You got it.
I said it correctly. Pink ward in that brush. Nintendo knows there's a ward somewhere. It's not that one. Must be this brush.
And he got it. Oh, it's a pink ward. He could have seen that regardless.
It's fine though. Let him know that it was around though. I mean, think about it. Think about how many times pros have walked by a brush with a pink ward in it. I've never seen that go that far into the dragon pit.
It needs safety. It's running away.
Didn't work for him there. Mash though, bit low. Oh wow. Ian going pretty far in there. Couple of rockets, the flash play, and Sheep knocks him back behind the minions to keep the hook from catching him.
Really great play there with the disengage. This team pretty much has everything, but they need to get a lead in this mid game with the Rumble, with Chris. And they need to stop the roam of Huhi if Coast are going to stand a chance, because Fusion are just all over this map, and their map movements have just been looking better and better.
Well, they got the first dragon for it, but the fact that MacNoon and Nintendude came in there made that turret go down. Now that said, Impaler and Jess made mid lane happen, so sometimes staying can get you a decent benefit. Impaler loses some health. Easy jump back from Huhi. And Chris actually gets some spare time as well. So to be honest, MacNoon's roam gave away 2 turrets.
The fact that he TP'd down, he didn't even get anything for it, so it wasn't that great of a TP, or was it actually a bad TP overall because of all of those things falling into their hands.
So Coast are up a dragon. They're up 2 kills. They're up a turret. They're up 1,000 gold. By all measurements, Coast are winning right now. Huhi holding a blue buff, and we'll see what else Fusion can do with this one. The jump on it. Ooh, close. But Jess is safe.
Took him a little extra second there to actually mimic the distortion.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that. I don't know if it was like still on cooldown for a second or what.
1 more second. Just, almost reach.
Tanso. Red buff secured. Gets the, looks like the 3rd or 4th red buff of the game.
He needs as much help as he can get, because Mash, despite being a little bit down in CS by about 20, he has a kill and 2 assists to his name.
Yes, and that is going to be scary. Infinity Edge Spike coming in soon. Niantanso actually got the early Berserker Squeeze before Triforce was done. Delays the power spike. He takes some good damage there. He'll still be okay. We're back on ward maintenance. Now Dragon is back up in under a minute. And so the question is, which team keeps ward control better? Really fortunate blue buff respawn time. Well done, Coast.
Chris has his Leandries, and there is the IE power spike from Mash hitting just now, and he's walking out of the base with that in time for Dragon, 25 seconds.
This is all so optimal right here for Team Coast. The Rod of Ages from Macnoon still needs time to stack up. Based on items, this should be a fight for Coast, but it all depends on how these teams navigate it.
The Athenes versus the Chalice is not a big spike. There's Sork shoes on Jets. It's basically across the board here. Coast have all the, like at least all the advantages, be them very tiny.
But when you got them down the line, it's just, it should be overbearing.
Yeah, if a crit comes out from that IE on somebody this early on in the game, it's going to really hurt.
And chances are high Mash will get one. I mean, his standard auto attack pattern is going to have 6 auto attacks. You're going to get 1.5 crits on average that way.
And Scuttle Crab,
feeling the pain.
You can't smite it though.
No, I mean, you could, but it'd be a really bad choice. Rocket's not quite going to get it. Oh, he stole it!
Nien got it.
All right, so vision there for Nien is actually pretty good. They can't clear it away. Coast, also, nice job by Nintendo. He pushed in the mid lane. That forces the rotation by Team Coast, or they miss a lot of the farm here. Pink Ward's going to spot Huhi.
Everybody's just kind of scattering, not letting Coast actually engage, because like I said, this team does a lot of things, but their main sources of engage are Impaler, with secondary engage being Chris.
Well, also a big wave pushing into the top lane. Looks like no one from Coast will clean that one up, so a bit of damage crashes into this one.
They're all scattered. They're not all going to get hit by a Rumble ultimate here.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's the right place for Lee Sin to be. Nintendude's going to get easily isolated to jump in from Impaler. Hops over the wall. Now Impaler's on the wrong side of this one. They're going to burst it down, but he gets it anyway with a flash. Nicely done there by Impaler. And the fight begins. Out goes Macnoon, but is it going to be enough? Nice Xerath ulties. Fusion forced away, and now inside track on mid lane.
That actually went pretty well for Fusion, because they got that top turret because of the minion waves pushing in.
Yeah.
They didn't lose anybody. They did lose Dragon, but it's only the second Dragon of the game. And of course, they don't have one just yet, and it would be great if they had. But the fact they didn't lose anybody or just get punished by these spikes is good.
Yeah, I mean, it's about pretty much the best that it probably could have been on average for Fusion, because you're going to lose that fight. You got away without any kills, without any deaths. I'm surprised they contested at all. I think they could have set up something for bot lane, but that would risk you getting caught afterwards.
I think a big part of it is they got the shrine from Nien. Oh, Huhi.
Oh, Mash is going to maybe kill him. It's going to be close. No, I take it back. Huhi destroys the poor guy. Well done.
Just obliterated there.
Absolutely.
Immediately by Huhi's LeBlanc, not respecting the damage. And it looked like it would have been Mash if he had gotten like a crit with a piercing light and then a light slinger. Would have been enough, but look at this, the pick on Chris.
Nice kick, nice box, nice everything. Perfect play mechanically there by Fusion, and down goes Chris.
He missed the Q though.
You know what, it's fine. It's okay. I'm wrong, but it's okay. No, I deserve it. I was wrong. I said perfect.
Glebe did a great job.
Glebe did it right.
Glebe did a really good job.
Nintendo dude, it's okay. We forgive you.
It's okay. He's been missing smites this game. We talked about how well he's been hitting smites last game.
Yeah.
Of course, they all have been pretty much under pressure.
Yeah, I mean, they're forgivable smite misses.
Yeah. Like, it's not like he was the one who was doing the dragon.
Right.
Yeah, I want to talk about that dragon fight and how they got out. Was the fact that Nien got that Scuttle Crab, and then that's the movement speed shrine for them to get out of the fight, because they were right on the dragon. Like, Nintendude came over the wall, looked for the smite, didn't get it, but then you walk over the shrine and you're able to get out.
Yeah. To my knowledge, I believe that speed shrine is out of combat move speed, but I believe it's only if you're hit. I think like it works like Misfortune's strut. I think. I could be wrong in this one. But that is my understanding of that speed shrine. So it like sometimes you don't get it to get out. Like you're unable to. I just could be completely wrong. So we're going to move on. Bottom lane turret going to be going down. Coast going to find their third turret. Of course, they're 2-0 on Dragons as well. They've lost a couple of kills over the while, but...
You're probably right, but it still does the animation, so...
Okay.
Yeah, I know that it still does the animation when you walk over it. It's like, whew, but
yeah.
You aren't actually going fast.
I'm entirely
It's still 420. Everybody's getting adjusted to it. It's like, what does Baron still do?
Well, I know like Home Guard will at least fall off you if you hit somebody, and like the Boots of Moby go on cooldown. I got a lot of things to learn before the season starts next year, so at least I got Raptors correct. Like, we've learned that one. They're not Razorbeaks anymore. Macnoon and Chris fighting for some Krugs, but by the way, in comes the Intanso. It wasn't for that after all. They wanted Chris the whole time. Nice acting by Macnoon.
The fact they're going after these Krugs. Actually, looking back, I really want to know the speed shrine.
How fast they all move?
Yeah.
It's okay. Nothing's going on too much right now. Just a one quick kill. Baron respawn, or spawn for the first time, I should say. But no one's trying. It's 20 minutes in.
Yeah, they went back and forth on it. It's really hard to tell, actually, because they just keep going back and forth. Me and Tanso did get it a couple times in that fight.
Okay. What does assume that I'm wrong? It's actually really likely.
I think you might be right.
I used to be right about a lot of things.
I don't know how it checks.
And then I like fell out of touch with a lot more stuff.
But the thing is, I don't know how it checks, like how often it's like, this counts as in combat. So it's like 8 seconds, or it's like, okay, you haven't been hit for 1.5 seconds, now you can get a speed shrine. Right?
Or it goes like home guard, where once you buy it, it'll automatically trigger. So like the first time you tag it, it just like hits you anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's all kinds of things like that can exist. There actually used to be, the way Garen's passive used to work was it would just like, every like 6 seconds, like I forget exactly, but basically you could be taking damage and it would trigger in combat because 6 seconds had elapsed. And it would just be like, the Baron passive, the Garen passive, the regeneration passive would trigger, and then you'd get hit and it would fall off right away, but it wouldn't lock itself out. It would just like check in 6 seconds and be like, had you been hit yet? Nope, okay, great, passive's on. And then it would like immediately fall back off. Nintendo though, gotta be careful, jumps away. Finds the Blarbu, all is well. Coast looking to play still a little bit aggressive. They're down a kill overall, but the scoreline pretty close to equal. Dragon back up at 115. Coast doing a very good job of maintaining control over this. And since we last checked, Chris got more Magic Pen, so he is even more powerful. No other big spikes for anybody else, really. But I still think this is a good chance for Coast to impose their will on the map. Ward control not very heavy on both sides. They're mostly defensive wards right now. A couple of decent ones down the mid lane. Coast, they see near the blue buff and down the mid lane.
I like how everybody's backing 45 seconds before the Dragon, so they have their items, they've spent all their money. They're going to be as powerful as they can be for this fight and just trek their way back down there after getting some vision control of it. At the same time, Fusion, they have more control of that Dragon area. But they don't really have the composition. It's really going to be Huhi picking somebody off.
Yeah.
And like Corki throwing missiles in.
They can't possibly team fight as well as Rumble Jarvan.
Yeah.
So they're relying on these individual plays, and to be fair, for a while it was Nintendo and Huhi making that happen. But Coast have been so good at being controlled, they've slowed the map down and said the only thing that's going to happen are team fights. Now, ward control did happen over Baron, and they're timing this right for the Dragon respawn, knowing Coast will be south side.
So when you have more people behind Baron, it triggers the spikes, and the spikes actually do more damage
than the regular attacks. So you actually never want to trigger spikes if you can help it.
Yeah, you don't want to be behind the Baron. It's kind of to punish people who push themselves into the back of the pit.
Well, reminiscing of the Curse Academy game, Impaler knows about this. He's going to try. Can they get it? And it is Impaler with his second Baron steal of the tournament. This could be really good for Team Coast. They're trading kills back and forth. Glebe Glarbu's going to be going down. And suddenly Niantanso forced to run away. He's got 12 health. He's recalling back. Coast, nicely done.
Sheep didn't even get Nintendo'd out of the pit with his ultimate. He just pushed him against the wall. He was the only one who stayed in, and Impaler got the smite over him.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Coast looking so good in this game. They need to win to stay alive. They're going to get Dragon number 3 for themselves here. They've got the Baron buff already 24 minutes in. The teleport from Macnoon not likely to do much at all. He goes in anyway.
He's still going.
Gets slowed down by Chris, gets stunned as well. Waste of a teleport. And Coast are in absolute control.
And that was just kind of a big jump for them because of this mid-game composition. And the Rumble ultimate as well that came across. I really like the play here from Sheep. He comes in, pushes them all out. Granted, at the same time, it could have meant more kills falling into their hands. Believe that. The smite comes out. They all try to re-engage because it just becomes a very big cluster fight. And then Mash comes in from the side, starts routing everybody. And then they just clean up after that. Like the ultimate and just the presence of mind to be like, oh, Baron might be a thing right now. They jump it, they go straight in. Impaler hits I think like his 3rd smite of the game over Nintendo.
Yeah. Which is absolutely beautiful stuff by Coast. Their game sense has been great. Everything's going so well for these guys. Impaler now with a red buff on himself. Fusion going to be there a little bit late. They're not going to be able to contest this buff. They are looking for this top lane though, right as the recalls came in from Coast, but of course, they're all healed up. They can make their way across the map. The only guy missing is Mash here. And he's going to recall too, and of course, he gets there quickly as well.
Yeah, and Mash has actually been having a pretty good game for himself. He's at about where he was last game, except 10 minutes sooner.
Right.
So he has, the Static Shiv, the IE. He's got Ionian Boots of Lucidity with the Fury Enchant. So he's looking to just zip around these fights as much as he can, as often as he can with the cooldown, and to get that movement speed. So he's going to try to rely on that for his positioning, and also closing the gap, because there are a lot of these champions on Fusion that can get away from him.
And that's the thing, it's an interesting build going for this one because it actually nerfs your culling damage because it's based off your attack speed as well. You just get more of them. I actually don't know if it's more like auto attack DPS because of the extra spells cast. It's kind of difficult to do the math on that one properly, so it's just an interesting style choice. It will make him more mobile, as you said. It'll give him more uptime on various stuff. And look at this, mid lane tier 2 just goes down, out-rotated by Team Coast. Fusion forced to recall back late to defend the inhibitor.
And those Baron buffed up minions. He's going to get some attack speed from the Jarvan flag when thrown down.
It's true.
But he still has to stay around it. And yeah, I believe he's just looking for the mobility, though. He's looking to not get caught by a hook, by this LeBlanc, trying to just stay at arm's reach.
And this just tends to be Mash's playstyle. You saw his Ezreal builds as well. No crit at all. Cooldown boots on Ezreal as well. Goes. We even saw him go Essence Reaver in his series earlier in the week. Not today, but 2 days ago. And it just kind of tends to be the way Mash plays. He's pretty ability focused. In fact, I talked to him when he was in the LCS back in Season 3, and he was a player who would go 21-7 masteries just to get lower cooldown on his summoner spells. That he was like, yeah, it's like the new OP mastery page. I thought of it myself. You get 7 points utility, skipping out on the health because he thought you didn't really need it.
It's OP. I thought of it myself.
I mean, it's cool. And I used it for a while. I actually really thought it was a cute idea, but you get those 9 points defense, you're like, oh my god, so much health. I feel so tanky.
Look, it's just playing the map here, using the Baron buffed up minions, immediately getting themselves a turret, because Fusion looked like they were going after that middle tier 2 for so long. And now they're going to get some damage on this inhibitor turret. 27 minutes.
Nice engage there, but out goes Impaler. Macnoon down to 1/3 health as Maokai has not done too much all game, whereas that Rebel pick has done a good job to win some team fights. Coast forced to back away.
Baron buff
still got some time.
Baron buff gone. Just fell off of them very recently. And also, they've been completely getting every dragon this game on Coast side. Like, they have all these options, and they don't even have the bonus damage on Fusion's side. They don't have extra damage to minions. It's hard for them to deal with this at this point in the game, because it's still pretty early for them.
Right. I mean, honestly, Coast just said, okay, in Champs, like, we're going to change things around. Our first 2 picks are going to be this Rumble and Jarvan, these mid-game team fighters that kept punishing us throughout this series. Suddenly it works. Suddenly they're the team getting dragon control. Suddenly Fusion don't have that great mid-game team fight that just wins them the game, those Macnoon equalizer turnarounds. And Coast are winning now. Coast have stopped that big edge that Fusion had.
And I think a big thing about 4.20 is it just kind of hammers home the idea that kills don't win the game.
Absolutely not.
I've seen teams be up kills constantly and lose the game because dragons are so important, Baron is so important, inhibitors are so important, and the way you buff up minions and manipulate the waves are way more important than what you do with a kill. The kills are kind of the ways you get to these things.
Right, kills enable these
objectives. You have to but a lot of people kill people when the dragon isn't even up, and then they can't even get anything for it, and they do that multiple times, then they're sitting at 30 kills, and the other team's at 17, and they still lose.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it's interesting what kills mean, because very early on in the game, they either force a teleport burn to get back in a lane, or you make someone miss a wave or 2 of XP, which means a level or 2 that early in the game, because the level required to level up is so low. And so you're like, great, for the next 5 minutes, I've got a level lead on you. That's what that gank just meant, and it means you can impose your will and bring a further CS lead, and actually gotta bring an extended gold lead because of the bullying. Later on, that's okay, well, turrets are dead, so we can't make minion suicide, but it means you have downtime where we've got a 5v4. This power play can make us take an objective, and the purpose of a kill changes. The 300 gold doesn't mean nearly as much when everyone's got 3,000.
Yeah, and it's
8,000.
And it becomes more about the death timer,
right?
And what you do while they're in the death
timer.
Exactly. What you get from it that isn't just cash money. They're like, oh, I killed him. Free minions late game. It
could be Magi stacks.
That's true.
The Adam's got buff.
I killed him. Did I get a turret? Did I get into the base? Things like that. Kills facilitated. I believe this might be Coast's
Good play by Nien, though. He's trading objectives. They know they can't contest Dragon. In fact, they shouldn't even be around here. The chance of getting, like, flash flag and dragged on MacNoon, like, why even risk that? These guys should back out. Nien made a great push down towards the mid lane. They still can't really take a team fight, though. They're facing 4 dragons.
Yep.
And double Aegis as well. In comes the push. MacNoon, ooh, the hook's going to miss, though. Impaler in the front lines. There's the equalizer catching on to 2, and MacNoon's going to fall first. And that's a very good start. They will trade back though onto the Impaler jungle. Now Chris up in the fray. Nice dodge in almost every single Xerath ulti. And now in the 4v4. Confusion in this back around, or will it be more? Glebe Glarbu misses his flash. Hooks and flames, but Mash will kill him. 2 for 1. Coming in actually makes that now a 3 for 1. Going very well for Coast. Chris pops the Zonias, and here's the chase. The flash stun catches Nien Tanso. Double kill for Mash. What a team fight for Coast.
The E stun from Jess's, max range, getting the full duration, and Mash closing the distance with a culling. They're going to get Baron off of that play.
Baron number 2, the first one honestly stolen away by Impaler. This time they started before he's even respawned. So Nintendo, can you get revenge here? Looks like Coast don't even want to try. They see MacNoon. MacNoon's like, all right, I'll give you guys a kill. Goes in for Chris. Can he get the kill? He's close, but he's not close enough. That's a kill. Gonna be going over to Mash. Nicely done there. Chris will just simply recall. Who cares?
Cooldown boots are paying off for Mash.
Yeah, they are.
Because how many relentless pursuits he's getting off in these fights is just absolutely ridiculous.
You could say he's relentless.
He actually maxed that second too.
Most do actually. That's standard now for Lucian.
It's standard now because of the AD ratio on Ardent Blaze has been removed.
Well, it's just because it's the extra resets and everything. It's just worthwhile.
Well, it's not really a damage ability anymore either on your W. You're kind of just movement speed because now it has an AP ratio. But I love that Cataclysm, and then the fact that it forced Nien Tanso to the left, and then the fight just continued off on both the left and the right, and it kind of split it into Coast's favor, and just picking them off one by one. Because Nien Tanso didn't get to do a whole lot after that Cataclysm went down. He had to Valkyrie to the left, and then he couldn't stay in the fight. And then he got picked off at the end. And he's kind of the linchpin of this team, or at least has been, in terms of their damage dealing in the late game.
And I mean, Nien does do some pretty good damage. The problem is
they found a lot of farm in him too.
And that's great if your front line holds up, and you think it would have worked with Nintendo, who's had a pretty good series overall, and MacNoon, who's on the big tank that you picked for the top lane here. But Coast picked on MacNoon. They actually did a really good job of keeping him down. He's been dying frequently in these battles now, and the front line doesn't hold up.
They're still going to risk it, and look at this Nien. He's going down the middle lane, just trying to shove that, and then, oh, they're going to fight instead.
The re-engage, though, perfect equalizer coming on down, and look at that, MacNoon one more time is going to die. The kick up on a Mash, but no one even cares. He's way too durable with his Bloodthirster. A 1 for 0. Coast don't even flinch.
Paler just decides to turn on the team. Mash, he wants to close the distance. He has red buff.
Yeah, he does. This is going to be enough damage. Glebe Glarbu is going to die. Make that a 2 for nothing in this battle.
And Sheep's disengage with the Monsoon was fantastic because it kept Huhi out of the fight. I think it actually stopped him from doing damage with his distortion too.
Very likely. Really good job as Q and R will both stop the kind of core combos of a LeBlanc player.
They could still go in and mop this fight up. And Nintendo,
he can't find any burst onto
checking the HP.
Paler. Another ward comes down. That's the last one, pretty much here. 2,000 health. Can they get Impaler? Looks like he will burn to death. The Locket comes in. The Smite Steal does not come in time. It's a kill, but the 2 kills come back in. And it's Baron secured one more time. Now, nice job by Nien. He does take down mid-turret. But Coast are getting more here.
With his dying breath, Impaler just sends down a Smite. He's burning to death, and he's just like, I gotta do it. And he gets the Smite on the Baron and picks it up for his team.
Very nicely done. That was very nearly done there by Team Fusion, but better by Coast.
Yeah, Huhi comes in, he's like, I have to try to 100 to 0 Impaler. Tries to burst him out, gets him extremely low. The Ignite is ticking.
Oh, he got stunned up too. He stayed for auto attacks to
he
get more damage.
He stays to auto, goes in, gets the...
Nintendo's too slow.
Look at that. He gets the Smite as he's in the air dying. He died from getting knocked up from Baron and the Ignite, and his body's in the air and he smites.
Yeah, he got healed a little bit by Trailblazer, of course. That was cut in half by the Ignite. And then the Ignite tick killed him. And so it was interesting who he did. He stayed to land auto attacks, which are worth 80-ish damage per hit. And I think that actually helped secure the actual kill, but he also got stunned very quickly on by Jess's, and so he couldn't actually stay alive to enjoy the fruits of his work. And unfortunately, just a little bit too slow Nintendo coming in there. It was not able to smite that.
Look at all this ward control coverage that they have on Fusion side over this Dragon.
It's Dragon 5.
They have to protect it, but look at this. Nope.
Oh, it didn't go all the way. The fact that it moved, though, means I think they know that they're around.
Yeah.
Because it like
usually sticks
around. It cheats and knows when people are around.
It's like Doom bots.
Yeah. The Wolf Smite is basically a Doom bot.
It's like, oh, I wonder if there's somebody in this bush. Like, it already knows.
Yep, 7 Garens.
Just every bush. But look at this. They're not going to fall for it.
This is good, this is good. Coast going down mid is perfectly fine. In fact...
Baron buff?
Oh, no, they risk losing the inhibitor.
Ooh.
Fusion is basically being Final 5 right now. They're
There's
losing the game, but they're going to go in. Oh, 2-man play. Can they get enough, though? Glebe close to dead, but look how tanky these guys are. They refuse to go down. MacNoon's going to die. 2 for 0 despite getting caught out. Out goes Team Fusion. Dragon should be pretty painless now.
Nintendo wasn't there at all, and they're going to continue to try to pick people off. They're just going to go straight down the middle. They have the Baron buff. They don't want to waste any time on it.
That's actually a really smart choice there. I would have said Dragon, but you're right. Going for mid is a way better call here. Nice shots called by Impaler. Mid inhibitor turret going to be going down. The inhibitor as well going to follow. 36.5 minutes in. Coast inside the base.
And look at that. Impaler, he's going to go straight towards that Dragon to secure the 5th Dragon for his team, or at least start it up for him so they can join.
Look how little damage he does. Sheep has a Chalice as well as a Locket of the Iron Solari, plus the Locket from Impaler giving him another 20 MR. And LeBlanc can't one-shot a Janna anymore. Remember Season 3 Worlds where Ari just kept picking on Zyras the whole time?
Yes.
And like every support player was sad? Well, now they're able to at least survive.
Who gave them
Come
money?
a long way in 2 years.
Who gave those supports money?
Riot. Scumbag Riot not giving me free kills and supports. Come on, guys.
Yeah, Zyra support, that's just the nightmares, the Ari.
You can't do anything about it.
I know, you get hit by a charm and it's like 100-0 every single time.
Yep.
The hook came out and then Sheep disengages this and Glebe is forced to flash to the other side. But then it's just a fight where Mash can do whatever he wants. He gets the culling off and then he's like, oh, look at those crits.
Yep.
He has a ton of damage at this point in the game. He's basically sitting where Niantanso was sitting last game. 9-1 and 7 on the Lucian.
Yeah,
4 items,
he's
4.5.
massive.
He's almost at full build.
You've got Fear Boots.
But he is still down in CS. Like, they funnel a lot of CS into Niantanso, and that's part of him being the shot callers. Him being
He's
like,
the guy that goes for the waves.
he's like, I'm gonna go push mid.
The problem is it stars MacNoon, and we can see how much this Maokai has been dying in these team fights. It's been brutal trying to beat this Maokai. I really think giving him on someone that actually needs gold past 30 minutes is really hurting Fusion right here. Like, if he's not self-sufficient in getting his own farm, you're wasting the potential of your top laner here. Dragon number 5, Baron buff, may have timed out, but look at what all these guys can do. They jump on Glebe Garbu in a really bad spot. Nice equalizer separates the back line. You can see everyone is forced to run. Already a 1 for 0 in towards the inhibitor turret in the top lane as well. Down comes the dive. Good zonias by Chris. Mash in the back lines already. He's going to find Mac. He's going to find even more. Everyone's just falling over. This is going to be an easy fight right now for Team Coast, and they are going to stay alive in this match.
Mash is having an incredible game for himself. 11-1 and 9, and they're going to push this out and take this game off of Fusion.
What a good example of mental fortitude by Team Coast. Game 1 was close, Game 2 was ugly, and they found a way to come back in Game 3. Will we see the second reverse sweep of the tournament? Coast certainly want to make their way into the LCS. They need 2 more.
Well, 12-1 and 9 is the final scoreline there for Niantanso. But a lot of this was Chris showing up in the mid game with that Rumble, MacNoon not having that Rumble ultimate for those dragon fights, and not a single dragon fell into Fusion's hands.
Yep. It was just a really good setup by Team Coast. They prioritized the correct champions.
Yes.
Fusion, time again, okay, we need this Corki. This Corki's the big deal. We're going to deny this from Mash. We're not going to let him play this champion. Well, guess what? Mash doesn't seem to care. As you said, 12-1 and 9 on him. That Lucian went just fine. And hey, the first round red side picks, Rumble, Jarvan, team fight comp, spikes early on. Chris played it right. Good adaptation by Team Coast.
Yeah, Niantanso just busting out of the gate and having great game 1 and 2, but then Mash turning it around. We heard William talk about it where he's just like, I really think that Mash and Sheep need to step up, and they did that game. They had a phenomenal performance, and Jez has got to play his style of being very safe.
Yep.
He got to be just kind of the back line that you didn't recognize was a huge threat because Mash is so big. Like we're looking at a 3-0 and 14 Xerath who's just sieging everything, and it was so easy for them to crack the base too. 39-minute game overall, really good performance there by Coast. But kind of, I think the biggest part of that for me is the fact that when you're down 2-0, you're able to just keep a level head, make adjustments, and then kind of almost bring the momentum back to even.
Yeah, and honestly, Coast set their carries up very well. Good choice this game, good champ select. Guys, Fusion are still one game away from qualifying into the LCS. Team Coast need to win 2 more straight, but they've already done 1. Maybe they can do those next 2.